正月到嘞，二月休，我俩望歌。
I am so thrilled to take you to Beijing for a conversation about a book called Into the Desert. Its writer, Xuemo, has written some beautiful, beautiful words in this book that I think you will all enjoy. And we have Xuemo's translator with us, Ida. So what a pleasure to welcome her as well. And we're going to hear a couple of great songs by Xuemo at the end of this. So Ida, Into the Desert, how did this happen? Tell us about the book. How did it come about? What was the motivation?
Okay, fine. Writer Xuemo wants to tell the readers he wants to faithfully record a people who live in the land of Western China. Generation after generation of people are so full of hardship and yearning for love. Since over the decades, the West was widely noticed only during the time of major developments. A great deal of its culture heritage had to be unearthed and cherished. The beauty, complexity, and vastness of the West were unknown to the outside world. People's eye lit up when the Desert trilogy by Xuemo was published. They were surprised to learn about such a place, its culture and residents. Not too many truly understood the West. Even now, people who know Tibet and Lhasa had no idea the nearby was Liangzhou, a city with an important Buddhist cultural heritage. And the Hexi corridor, the site of 1,000 years of culture. They naturally wasn't aware of the Liangzhou folk tales, a kind of living culture fossils that had been around for thousands of years, which would soon disappear in the passage of time. As a result, Xuemo once set a goal for himself when he started this book to present a West that's rich, comprehensive, and capable of demonstrating the complexity and the plenitude of the locals and truly freezing framing West along the real Silk Road. He thought he had met his expectation.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it is a fascinating setup, what you just told us there, the inspiration. Tell us some more details about the book. What can our listeners expect when they buy Xuemo's book?
Okay. Into the Desert actually was readapted and co-translated by Howard Goldblatt, a prominent American sinologist and translator of Chinese literature, as well as his wife, Dr. Sylvia. From 2 volumes of Xuemo's Desert Trilogy, White Tiger Pass and Desert Rise. In June 2022, Into the Desert was first published by the Long River Press. In October 2022, this short novel won the Best Translated Book Award issued by China International Communications Group. Actually, this story set in the 1990s. The novel centers on 2 Chinese willing women who are unwilling to yield and fight against fate, bound together by poverty and tradition. They embark upon a perilous journey to change their lives. So this book isn't about life or how to experience. Rather, just as mentioned in the prelude, it's about people, the souls of the West, that are no longer around and the culture they passed down. Okay.
Wow. So, the story, as I understand it, you get a feeling of this this wondering, and these are Xuemo's words, if one has reached a dead end after all the hills and rivers and all of that. And I think it's just so beautiful. And so tell us about the main characters in the novel.
Okay. This book centered on 2 characters, Lan Lan and Ying'er. Also, the subtitle characters also jackals. You know, what do the jackals represent? Jackals actually is a savage beast. So you can treat them as a kind of symbol representing perils in life. You probably know that many writers was confronted with predicaments. For example, Tolstoy was afflicted with mental illness several times and had to lock away his hunting rifle so he wouldn't kill himself too easily. So also, as the heroine in this book, Lan Lan and Ying against these problems, like the real jackals, they some fail to make it out of the desert and turn into camel carcasses in their mental desert, while some made it out. When faced with jackals, those with a weak soul would be like Ying, who is constantly thinking about death and giving up and believing it her fate. What with that kind of mindset, one would pull down the mocket one day and stick her neck out for the jackal to pounce, and everything would be over for her. Ying is a good person and strong in some aspects, but he's pensive in nature, especially when dealing with personal matters. He tends to back off and even give up. Lan Lan is like a resolute voice in her heart. Whenever Ying is lost in thought and ready to die, Lan Lan helps her see hope, so she can continue her journey. But in the end, she fails to escape that fate. She kills herself when she returned home, and her mother forces her to marry the butcher. However, her death is a form of resistance, not a cowardly way out.
Wow. So interesting. And I just keep thinking of what people will take away from this book. What does Xuemo hope, Ida, that the listeners and many of the people in any language that read Into the Desert, what does he hope they take away from reading the novel?
Oh, I think that this is a brilliant idea. I think when the readers across the world listen to the story, they will moved and touched. They will know more about Chinese culture. Actually, in fact, everyone has a Ying and a Lan Lan in them, just like Ying. When we are at an impasse, we would influence more or less, not like Ying in the desert, but there would likely be a voice of Lan Lan. Otherwise, we would all stop fighting and give up. Xuemo would like to tell the reader, we need to follow the heroine Lan Lan and Ying's idea to be focused, steadfast, calm, and fearless. With these traits, we can all get off our predicaments. Yes. Also, at the 2023 London Book Fair, Xuemo did the theme of literature to witness the power of women, which was widely reported by more than 2,000 media outlets. As Xuemo said, I believe the world will be a more peaceful place if motherhood takes center stage, since no mother would wish to see her child harmed in war. In the country, men always have a tendency to prioritize profits over human lives by initiating violence and bloodshed that may cruelly take millions of lives. Why is that so? Because women yearn for life, whereas men aspire for violence. In today's world, women's voice is still much less heard than men's. As a consequence, this planet is always occupied with wars, bloodshed, and violence. Whenever the wisdom and the love of women can truly dominate the world, the light of peace will break through darkness and shine upon us. eventually. Therefore, we should use maternal life to dispel hatred, maternal wisdom to dispel ignorance, and female tolerance to resolve differences. This possibility can make the world better and more peaceful. Writer Xuemo would like to tell to the readers, only the desire to be good, not violence, can make people good for human beings. Oftentimes, it has nothing to do with a person's ability or talent. Everyone is capable of caring for others, so we all have the potential to be great. The only difference is being the aspiration. There are plenty of positive stories in the local culture here, like the story of Ying and Lan. Also, Great Man Xinjiang inflected story by Xuemo, and many others. Thank you, Kate.
And again, the book is Into the Desert. Ida, wonderful translating Xuemo for us, his wonderful words. And we can get this book, you can get this book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and I suggest you pick it up and you will learn some fascinating things. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
正月到嘞，2月休，我俩望个闹元宵。你闹元宵，我不为一心行走，他会吸口味呀，一心行走，他会吸口味。吸口味来强光，又挣银子又挣钱，挣上银钱。
Visit www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com. Call us at 877-600-5469. Subscribe now.